Evening, guys. I wanted to share with you from 1 Peter 5, verses 5 to 7. It says, "Likewise, you younger people, submit yourselves to your elders. Yes, all of you be submissive to one another, and be clothed with humility, for God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Therefore humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your cares upon him, for he cares for you." And when something concerns us, we will tend to either worry about it, or we'll plot ways of solving it. And then when things get overwhelming, that's when we tend to go to the Lord. And we say, "Okay, Lord, I need help with this." But while that's good to go to the Lord, he should be a step before that, where instead of going and trying to plot ways of solving it, we should first go to the Lord and say, "Okay, Lord, I need to humble myself before you and say, I may not know best, and I need your help as I go into this. That there's a new situation I've got to deal with, I need your help." And sometimes we don't go to him about a situation because we just think we can solve it. And the problem is that it's that little piece of pride that's within us that just says, "I know what to do, so I'll just do it." Rather than saying, "Okay, I may think I know what to do," but ultimately, pride's going to take us down paths that we wouldn't have to go down if we submitted everything to the Lord. And in this verse we see that we should be casting our worries, not carrying our worries. And if the Lord says to cast our worries, not carry them, it's kind of like a parent who goes hiking with their kid. And they've got a big rucksack they've got to take, and the parent says to the kid, "Hey, I'm going to take the rucksack, we're going to head that way," or whatever. And the kid says, "No, I've got it," and takes the rucksack and runs off. And the kid, if it's a heavy backpack, they're going to damage themselves. And the parent has already said, "Hey, I'm going to carry it, so let me carry it." And the kid's done two things that are wrong. One, they've done it and it's disobedient because they've been told not to. And two, in doing so, they're actually going to damage themselves, even if they think they're capable of carrying it. And we do the same with the Lord, where we get situations and we just say, "I've got it, I can deal with it." And the Lord's like, no, cast your anxieties on me, and then we can do this situation. And we just say, no, it's okay, I got it, I can sort it out. If I need help, I'll come to you. And it tells us, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, casting your anxieties. And those things aren't different. They are very much connected. Where it says, humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, casting your anxieties upon him, saying, "Okay, I may think I know what to do, but I need to cast everything to you to say, okay, I'm just going to turn to you and say, Lord, I need your help." And when we do this, when we humble ourselves, we admit our wrongs. We ask for help regardless of how others are going to treat us or how others are going to think of us. And it's doing the ordinary and the lowly tasks, not seeking the pedestal. And ultimately, humility ends up running the risk of losing face before people. But that's not what humility is about. Humility is not about having that face before people where people view us as amazing. Humility is about turning and saying, I need help, and it doesn't matter what others are going to think of me. And we see here, as our example, Jesus lived humbly. And he's God incarnate that we can look to and we can say, okay, Jesus is our example. What does Jesus do? And we see so many situations when we're like, why did Jesus not say this? Why did Jesus say that instead of saying this? He could have blown them away. And we can sit there saying this sort of stuff. But with Jesus as our example, we can see that he lived humbly. And humility looks very different. Humility can also bring anxieties where we then have to cast those anxieties to the Lord. And casting those anxieties also requires humility. So, with that mighty hand, who better to handle it? Either us, or we can say, oh, there's a mighty hand that can deal with this situation, I should probably use the mighty hand. And we're sheltered under that hand. So we may have worries, but we can go underneath that hand and be protected and know that whatever may come against us, it's not going to take us out of the running. We're actually going to be able to come back stronger, and He's going to continue to walk with us as we go through these situations. And I remember when I came to a big crossroads with university, and I'd submitted all my applications, and I'd got my responses back from the university, and there were two big choices that stuck out. There was one which was a really great university, pretty highly ranked, and they were offering me like a kind of scholarship, so they would reduce some of the funds or some of the fees. And then there was another one that they weren't necessarily that highly ranked, but and neither were they offering me any kind of release from having to pay the full fees. And so I had these two, and my university lecturers were like, yeah, I see all these responses, but this one looks good. You should definitely go for this. You know, it's a good university, and you're not going to have to pay the full fees. And a lot of my lecturers were like, yeah, I mean, it's ultimately your decision, but if you're asking my opinion, that's the one that definitely looks good. And I remember praying about it, because obviously it's where I'm going to be spending the next 3 to 4 years of my life, and it's where I'm going to be putting a lot of money into. And I remember the Lord showing me that He wanted me to go to the lesser ranked one, the one where I didn't have any kind of scholarship for. And it took me saying, okay, Lord, you know better. That even though my job prospects at the end of it may seem better if I went to the more higher ranked university, that ultimately, if that's the one that the Lord's leading me to, then that's the one that I should go for, regardless of what others are going to think, and regardless of what I may even think. And I ended up going to the latter university, the one that was not as highly ranked, and it's definitely been the best choice out of any of the universities that I could have picked, not because of job prospects or anything else like that, but because it's grown me spiritually more than it would have at any of the other universities. And it took me humbling myself and casting my anxieties and worries, and trusting God, saying, okay, I may think I know best, and it may seem like there's an obvious choice ahead of me, but I want to stop, and I want you to be involved. I want you to show me what you want me to do. And the Lord's going to guide us down paths that may seem unusual, but when we're casting our cares on Him, saying, alright, I need your help in this, even though I feel like I may know best, or even though I may not have a clue what to do, I need to trust you. And the Lord's going to guide us down paths, and He's going to watch over us in every situation. And in doing so, it's been the far better choice. And it took me casting my anxieties and worries on Him, trusting Him, and ultimately, it means that we can look at it and say, oh, but, you could have had a better job if you went to the other one. But ultimately, when I die, the Lord's opinion is going to matter far more than other people's opinions. And that's what's going to happen for all of us. In each and every decision we make, it's going to affect our lives in ways that we wouldn't necessarily foresee. But if we have eternity's mind in view, looking at things, saying, okay, Lord, I need to humble myself before you, cast all my cares upon you, and say, help me. And the Lord's going to guide us down those paths. He's not going to say, alright, yeah, go on that one and have fun. It's Alright, let's go down this one and follow me as we go down, and I'll protect you, I'll watch over you, and you're going to come out of this stronger, not necessarily physically, but you're going to come out of this stronger spiritually, because ultimately, with eternity's values in view, we want the Lord's opinion to matter far more, and which it does. The Lord's opinion is going to matter far more than other people's opinions. Other people's opinions of us are going to last as long as they remember us, but the Lord is around for all of eternity, and his opinion ultimately is going to be the one that is going to affect our lives far more than other people's opinions, because the Lord's going to know us for our heart towards him, rather than whatever good works we do, whether we're generous people or whether we're seemingly good people. At the end of the day, we want to be faithful servants towards the Lord, because that's going to carry far more importance than simply how other people are going to view us. God bless you guys.